if you're suffering from depersonalization, derealization, DPDR, how you want to call it, this video might save your life. Why? Because I experienced this myself many times in my life, but there was this one time after smoking weed that I thought that I'm not going to heal from it. I experienced this for 1 week, and that was most horrible experience that I had in my entire life. So I'm going to give you some tips and why, if you're experiencing DPDR right now, you should get at ease. And I'm telling you this with 100% certainty that you're going to get over this, but you are the one who will decide how fast you will get over this. So shortly, what is DPDR about? DPDR is when you feel this strange feeling that you're alienated in your body. You cannot access your inner resources. You struggle to connect with your memory and with your sense of identity. I experienced this when I'm talking about this most severe case that I experienced, that after smoking high amounts of weed, when I came to my home, I was already feeling that something is wrong because I was not able to recognize my parents. And that was very, very strange, because deep in my heart, I knew where to come back home, you know, that they are my parents, but my memory was so foggy, it was unbearable. And second thing, what we experience under DPDR is that we feel that we don't feel. And this is terrible. If you experience DPDR, you know that it's even better to have anxiety attack than DPDR, because maybe I exaggerated a little bit, but when you have anxiety attack, when it goes down, you feel more calm because you know that it's already passed, you know. But when you feel DPDR, it's this flatline, and some people even experience this for years, and it's unbearable. They feel, but they feel like they live, but they feel like zombies. And how I managed to heal from this after 1 week, with all days as they were passing, I was feeling that I'm coming back to the normal state, but slightly. And I healed this mainly by stopping reading things about DPDR and derealization on internet, because our minds are very susceptible for suggestions when we are feeling bad. And for example, you might read on the internet that somebody struggles with it for years, or that it's impossible to cure it. And you know, when you're in this state, it goes strictly to your mind, and you know, our projections, our beliefs create our reality. And where I quit it, and I said, fuck it, I'm going to get out of it. And for this 1 week, I stopped reading about this. I believed that I will go through this, and it passed. But later, there was another thing, because when I started to study hypnotherapy and I discovered hypnotic regression, I discovered that usually when we experience DPDR, for example, after smoking weed or after some traumatic event, it's not first time that we experience it, because usually when we come back to our childhood by hypnotic regression, we discover that in childhood we also experienced this many times, but it passed. But it was saved in our subconsciousness, and later some event or some substance triggered it back. And I also wanted to tell you that you can get rid of it by hypnotic regression, but once you feel connected to resources. Because as I said, when I passed this most difficult week of my life, I still sometimes get this DPDR. For example, I was in job and I stopped for a moment, and when somebody tells me something, I felt, what the fuck, I'm here. And you feel so disconnected for a moment. And as I said, it's something that we usually experience as a child when we, for example, experience different arguments at home, when our parents were arguing and we didn't know how to manage these emotions, so we trained ourselves to disconnect. Because psychologists oftentimes tell about fight or flight response, but there's one thing more, and this is freeze response. And by this freeze response, if this is strong, it's causing us to feel depersonalization. And what I want to tell you, if you're experiencing this, your panic and reading about this is making this state worse. And I know that a lot of people are staying in mental illnesses for years, but really, really, I know that you can get rid of it. And if you feel now that your memory, that your cognitive functions are impaired, this is temporary, because once you will get rid of it, your normal cognitive function will come back, your memories will come back, and you will be able to connect with your emotions, with your identity at ease. But as I said, remember that this is temporary. Quit reading about this. I'm 100,000% sure that you will get rid of it, but you need to be persistent, and you need to don't break your promises. And also, that's just additional, but because what is most important I already said. But sorry, I needed to make a cut. But additional thing, how you feel and who you are is mainly influenced by our environment, by our habits, by our childhood, etc. So if you're experiencing DPDR right now, what you need to take care of is of your mind and your health. So don't indulge in any new addiction. Don't, quit from your emotions. I know that this is unbearable, because this is paradox, because you feel as though you feel nothing. So, you're disconnected, but don't indulge in any new compulsions, compulsively don't go hang out with people. It can be scary, I know, in this state, but take care of your environment and of yourself. This is basic, but the worst thing that we can do when we feel down, when we feel bad in our life, is to destroy ourselves by addictions and by toxic relationships. So yeah, that's the most important thing. And when you will apply all of this, I'm 100% sure that you will get rid of this. And I want to mention one more time, this is something that we experience also in our childhood. This is kind of alienation, but some events, in my case it was high amounts of weed and some circumstances under where I was smoking this weed, that triggered this, and it lasted for a week, and it was unbearable. But we sometimes experience it for 10 seconds, for 9 seconds, for 5 seconds, and even now I sometimes experience this for 2-3 seconds. But I know how to manage this, and it's not scary for me, because I just understand, whoa, that's something with my memory. And I also know I am, hypnotist, so I know how our mind works. And simply when we give someone suggestion that you can forget something, you can even forget what is your first name. And when you will get in a panic, I forget this, I cannot access it, This is how it's working. So have a good day, and I will hope that you will get to your full health, and you will enjoy it again. Don't worry. Start doing what needs to be done, and don't read too much about this.